we went into bed and I was putting the kids to sleep, and suddenly he started shivering. We went through the night, he had a bit of like a 99, 100 and stuff, and the next day in the morning, it was straight at like 103. He tested positive, and the first thing I did was just pack the kids off. What did I do wrong? Like, why would God punish me like this to keep me away from the kids for 1 month? Like, where did I screw up?
Hey Shraddha.
Hi, how are you?
Very well. You're looking good.
Trying to.
Okay, I was just giving everybody a little background about the conversation that we're going to have today. And first up, I really want to thank you for doing this for all the parents, because I just feel like it's coming back to our purpose of why we started blogging in the first place. Yeah. You with Diaper Drama and me with Kids Talk Press is to make sure that experiences get shared and we all don't end up making the same mistakes or going down a path which could have helped somebody else. So thank you so much for speaking with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me though.
Right. And for everybody who's watching and is joining in, or you want to tell your friends, we are speaking to Shraddha Mehra Virani, and she goes by the name of the Diaper Drama on Instagram. And she's had, she has 2 kids, 3 and 6, and both she and her husband, contacted the virus. And she's come out of it clean after 27 days and emerged as a much stronger individual. And she's going to share her journey. And I must tell everybody how I hounded her through this journey to say, Shraddha, please document every little detail. So I am guilty of that, but I'm sure it's for the good, because I'm sure that it's going to help so many of us, not make some of the mistakes or do some of the things right that you managed to do this, right? So coming straight to the point, how are you feeling now that it's behind you? Do you feel like the strongest
I feel very,
ever?
very relieved for sure. I feel very, very relieved, but it was super unnerving, Mansi. It was ridiculously unnerving, very, very unsettling. And rightfully so, especially because of the kids and, just everybody around us, like, my in-laws, my mom, everybody, like everyone's above 60 around us, right? So it was a very, very unsettling feeling, but I'm so glad that, and I'm hopeful that this is over and done with and behind us now. So, yeah, but it was nuts. It was really, really bad. It was emotionally very, very stressful, severely draining. Every day was like, what's going to happen next? Like, what do we expect? Because it's like the fear of the unknown. You don't know what to expect. Like, we really didn't know where we went wrong, as you said, or what we did that could have caused it. I've been homebound. I've not been doing any of my groceries.
Yeah, which is my question, that we've all been home now literally for 4 months. So correct. Tell me about your journey in the last, so it's 27, 28 days now
it took me 27 days to pretty much test negative eventually, finally.
And for a change, testing positive is not good in this case.
Not really. So, and again, that was even more unsettling. It was not just about being positive already. It was like, why is this going on? Why isn't the virus going? Because on day 10, my husband had already tested negative. So I was quite convinced that, okay, it's just a matter of 2-3 days, because we had a difference of 2 days and I would be negative as well. But 14th day didn't happen. 20th day didn't happen. It was just going on, and we weren't understanding what was going on. And I had no symptoms whatsoever after my 3rd day. There was no fever, there was no cough, there was no
Okay, cold. Hold on, we'll come to that. But uske pehle, so you've been home since the 22nd of March. So what happened? What happened between the lockdown and you testing positive? What do you think?
So, our best guess is the fact that my husband has started going back to work. But honestly, we still don't know, because we obviously tried tracing our steps and there was nobody around him who had tested positive. There was no one who had remotely shown any symptoms, or, even if it's an asymptomatic, because there were a couple of people who might have tested as well. And there was nothing, Mansi. There was just nothing. We have no idea how it's happened. We have no clue whatsoever how maybe he contracted it or I contracted it first, or whatever that it might have been. And it's a huge question mark that's completely left unanswered until date, because like I said, I've not been stepping out. The kids have been home. They've been with me. Husband's been going to work, coming back. And as parents, we have a responsibility towards the kids. And as children of our own parents as well, we have a responsibility towards our parents as well, where we've taken all precautions as would anybody else. But it just happened. It literally just happened.
So then you tested positive. Without
So
it. So what
basically,
was like
yeah.
what was the thing that made you test in the first place? Like
So
what
what
was the
happened
feeling?
was, it was a normal, honestly, a normal Friday night. Husband came back from work. He'd been going for work for a good 2-3 weeks. He came back and we ate dinner. He's like, "Oh, my feet are hurting," which was really normal because 10 out of 7 days I pressed his legs. So he was sitting with me.
Okay.
And then suddenly he's like, "I'm not feeling too good. I just feel like passing out." And we went into bed and I was putting the kids to sleep. And suddenly he started shivering, which was, our first kind of hint towards that, we're heading somewhere. And again, I was like, okay, why? What? We just checked his temperature. He was fine. And, at that point, I was like, okay, hopefully, in this situation, may it be like a dengue or a malaria. At least that seems better than, getting COVID right now. We went through the night. He had a bit of like a 9900 and stuff. And the next day in the morning, it was straight at like 103. So, the doctors checked him and he said there is a chance that, this could be COVID and things like that. He tested positive, and the first thing I did was just pack the kids off. And
So you
I
have your parents close by.
yeah, so I think the silver lining in this gray cloud has been the fact that, my mom lives down the road and my in-laws are also, very close by, and they completely stepped in and shared the load in terms of, watching over the kids, because for me, it had reached a point where it was either me being able to take care of my husband without knowing that I might also be testing positive 2 days later,
Yeah.
or being able to take care of the kids who are really young and need my attention entirely, right? So I had to send the kids off, and then I was micromanaging them from, my bed literally. And then he tested positive, and then literally the next day my throat started itching, and then I was like, okay, it's here.
And what happened when you say he tested positive? Did you guys go to one of the public
Yeah,
hospitals to get tested,
no,
or you
no,
called somebody home?
yeah, we had to call somebody home, and then because we had to get the doctor to kind of see him and stuff like that. And the doctor saw him, and he felt that he is showing signs of it. So of course that's when he prescribed that he should probably just get him tested as well. And then it was my turn, and then the next thing I knew that I was positive as well, and I get this call on like a day later from the BMC saying, "Madam, आपका भी test positive आया है," and I was like, my
So
word.
which hospital did you guys go to, Shraddha?
No. I had to go to the doctor, and then I went to the lab. Yeah, I just had to do the doctor in the lab. But then so basically the system is that once you do the test, the reports go straight to the BMC. If you test positive,
Whichever lab you do, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then as soon as we did it, after that, the BMC called up and they were like, आपका test positive आया है, and like I said, everything just froze for me. And then it was like, I'm positive, Neerav's positive, and now what? Like how do we move ahead from here? And then you just start, obviously for me and him, our mind just went to the kids completely, like, when will we see them again? And for me especially, I was like, will I see them again? So I had this major meltdown, and they were with my mom initially, and I had packed their bag in that rush, and then there was this whole drill of, "Mom, I put everything, now I've tested positive, please sanitize everything all over again," and praying that the kids were not carriers for them as well.
Your parents. Yeah.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, they're all above 60, and
Yes.
that's what we
Yes.
hear a lot at this point. So we did all of that, and thankfully, it was just my husband and me, and we managed to contain it between
Tell
the
me,
two.
was there when your husband felt feverish, did you think that I should not be with him and just be with my kids, because you don't know how it's going to go forward? So the child will have, touch wood, I'm so happy
Yeah.
it's all gone
Yeah.
well. But when these kind of situations, and it's really the unknown, right?
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah,
virus has
totally.
really kind of taken everybody by surprise. It's hold us up for 4 months.
Yeah.
Did the thought strike that should I be with my kids and leave my husband for now because they'll have one parent?
So, in the middle of the night, when he was feeling feverish, it was like 3:30, and both the kids were sleeping with us, because my nanny was in the village, so the kids had been sleeping with us in the room. And immediately, like, I was like, at 3 o'clock, I went and got a mattress. I put my daughter on the floor. I put my son on the floor. I had nowhere to leave them, Auntie. And they are so small.
Yes.
And it was literally a situation where I'm risking everybody around me, but I don't have an option except to just risk all of us and take care of him, because he was of importance at that point, and his health was of importance at that time.
Right.
So, but as soon as like they woke up, they were thrown out of the room, and I just refused to let them back in, and I just attended to my husband as much as I could at that point. But again, it was all at a distance, he was in a bad shape. The first 2 days, he was really down and out, and so the hot water towels and all of that. I mean, there was nobody else who could do it for him. So, it was just like
Right.
strap on everything, wear the mask, wear the gloves, do all of that. So I just had to go with it. There was no option but to do that.
Right.
And then we just continued to isolate at home for as long as it was.
Then there was just both of y'all. Once the kids are off, y'all were just two people at home and
the
cooking
staff.
your own meals.
No,
There was the staff.
Thankfully, my cook and one guy were with us. But again, with the grace of God, they had not shown any symptoms and they did not test positive also. So we kind of just...
And you guys isolated yourselves in a room with them not coming in and going out.
So what happened is the minute my husband started showing symptoms and, in the morning, basically when I packed off the kids and stuff, I moved into the kids' room. I moved into another room altogether and I was just at a distance, with him. And only when he really needed me, I went in. Otherwise, I just literally left him. And then, we went through the whole drill of where I was isolated in another room and he was isolated in another room. And even after I tested positive, that's how we continued to stay for 27 days. So I didn't, a lot of parents who have tested positive and also a lot of patients, even within hospitals who are positive, are living together. But, the doctor advised that if you guys can manage isolating into separate rooms and you're capable of doing that, then please do it, because symptomatically we were completely different. So, he had the cough and the cold. I didn't have the cough and the cold. And COVID is just, it's still a study, it's still a case study. Nobody knows what to expect. Even the medics are finding their way around, even with the patients where we don't know what, we don't know what next. So he was alone, I was alone, and we just had this whole new routine set up where, we were living through disposable. We just, trying to do everything for ourselves, not letting the staff come into our room, nothing. So they would just leave our food outside the table, on a table. So I set up a table outside the room. And they would just come, drop our food, and then go, and then we just go turn by turn, like patients, and go pick up our food, and like that boarding school thing that now you go pick up your plates, come back in, and again, like I said, in disposable, so that that we were not giving anything back to the kitchen, and we discard everything within the room, and then clear off the garbage at the end of the day, wearing again our masks and gloves and things like that. Because honestly, it came to a point where I had to safeguard the staff, and their mentality, no matter how much you tell them, they only think in one direction. हम तो हमारा like हम मर जाएंगे and ये हो जाएगा and our family will do this, and I've been trying to tell them that it's a fever, and even with our symptoms and our treatments, everything was just like a fever, Mansi. There was just nothing different besides.
And what were your symptoms, Shraddha? What were your symptoms?
I too got a fever. I first started with an itchy throat, and when my throat started, I was like, I was convinced that it's here. And then I got a fever and body ache, headache, and things like that. So I felt I did start feeling different. And then when I tested again, then of course things just started rolling over after that. But primarily it's a lot to do with the body ache, the fever, the headaches, the soreness. Like my lower body was really, really hurting a lot. So
and the meds are your normal cold, cough, fever meds.
Yeah, like your regular, your Dolo, your Hanitas, like those kind of medicines. So there was nothing out of the ordinary that we were asked to take by the doctors or anything like that. So thankfully, it was just that, and I think our symptoms thankfully also stayed relatively in control. We didn't have to get hospitalized and all those other things as well. And the usual checking the oximeter, the temperature, all of that stuff.
So what would you say is your COVID ready medical kit that families should have together?
Definitely some paracetamol based medicine that suits the family. So what we were advised was Dolo. Again, every person, maybe your Tylenol works.
The prescriptive part we'll of course keep the doctors.
But a paracetamol based thing, multivitamins, vitamin C for sure. So we really loaded up a lot on the orange juice and the naral pani and things like that.
Fluids.
A lot of fluids. Kada, the traditional kada, and
we'll get to the diet. Let's just get the toolbox ready.
This is all that helps medically. So the natural stuff actually helps you a lot, because that's all. End of the day, you need immunity boosters. So these are all those things that kind of just help with that. So this is what the doctor also.
So we'll also get the oximeter, right? And that's a must.
Your own thermometers, your a steam machine, like to take your steam inhalation, something like a betadine or whatever that can help you with the gargles, a cough syrup, like I said, paracetamol, the vitamins that your doctor would recommend. That's basically just it. So it's actually stuff
now
around
that,
the house, but we
yeah,
just
now that you're saying, every house will typically have just one thermometer also. It's maybe time to think maybe you need to
yeah,
get like one, two or
that's
more
what we done.
thermometers,
That's
right?
what we did. Yeah, that's what we did.
Because
And
it
then
will
we
not strike you immediately, right? कि thermometer भी दो चाहिए.
I would do 2 thermometers in a house at this point also, but don't overhoard on things, and then let the people who actually need the make use of
Yes.
it as well. So do whatever you have to do practically, but I mean start with a vitamin and continue that. But again, Mansi, this all just comes down to when you ask me what went wrong, we were doing all of this.
Yeah.
We've all been on it from day one, but it just still happened. So
Right.
yeah.
Which is incredible. My question to you now is, you are in this one room. Your kids are, luckily, we're so blessed that we have family like, like just down the
Yeah.
road or living with us, right? Which is such
I
a
get
big,
goosebumps thinking, God forbid if I was in a place where I didn't have like family support. Like, I mean, yes, friends are there, but right now, even your own family is
yeah.
so occupied in their own lives and living, their lives differently compared to what we're all used to doing, that it is difficult, and it is tough to manage 2 kids suddenly, for a whole month, that too, without any breaks or anything like that. So, I'm really grateful to the fact that they were right here down the road.
Right. No, which I think is great. Now tell me, you're in this one room. The kids are at Nani's house. What
Yeah.
was that conversation the night that you packed them off that next morning? That go, mama and papa have this thing, like, because they're really young. Like my kids are much older, so I can think of
Correct.
having that conversation.
Yeah.
What did you tell your 3-year-old Shraddha?
3-year-old honestly was just backed off because he's too small to understand. So he does understand that there's something going on called corona. There's something going on called lockdown. So his conversations with me is like, Mama is in lockdown, Papa's in lockdown. That's what it boiled down to eventually. My daughter obviously is a little older and understands. And dining table conversations the last 4 months have all been about
Yes.
corona, COVID, deaths, hospitalization, people within our inner circles getting it, so on and so forth. So, I mean, even the little bit that they were at home in the morning before I could send them off, they wanted to go in to meet my husband again and again. I was like, no, you cannot go to meet Papa and you have to stay away. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because he has fever. But they were like, but he's had fever before and we've been around him and he's had fever before. I was like, but this fever, you cannot be there, you just have to be away from Papa. So that was a difficult, thing to kind of explain to them and then keep them away. And that's what we left it at. We tried to keep that conversation slightly filtered because, they've heard a lot of this negative stuff around them. And I didn't want them to be worried, especially when they're away from us, But
Right.
eventually, I think, somewhere within conversations with, be it with my in-laws or my parents and stuff like that, they kind of picked up and they knew that, mom and dad have got COVID. And I didn't spell it out to them till very recently that now, till I met them, actually, when now mama had corona, you cannot be next to mama, you have to be away. Because even when I met them that day, finally, besides that one hug and, that one picture for my son's birthday, I stayed away. I still stayed away from them, and they're yet not back home because, the doctor told me that since it took so long, give it few more days and then get them back before they're sleeping in your bed and stuff all over again. So that fear,
Right.
Mansi, is just continuing even now,
I
unfortunately.
can imagine.
At the back
But
of
tell
your
me,
mind.
how did you keep them busy, Shraddha, while you were? Because
So, yeah.
we are struggling in spite of being healthy. We're struggling how to keep the kids busy. It's raining, they can't go down, and all of that. And your kids are much younger. How did you do that?
My kids have that, coming back to the fact that I've not been stepping on anywhere. They've gone to no gardens, they've gone to no terraces, they've been doing none of that. They've been completely homebound. Thankfully, I keep saying this, I'm so glad that I have two and we've been entertaining each other at
I
home.
completely agree with that.
And I'm an only child, so I really know where this comes from, because for me, I've always missed having that sibling and stuff like that. And thankfully, at least in this circumstance, they've had each other. Be it silent or mutual understanding that they've had, or the fact that they're spending their time together. So I would just line up activities for them. Thankfully, my both my in-laws and my mom, they're very hands-on as grandparents as well. So mom would do some baking with them. They do some activities. They had, we've all signed up for a couple of classes here and there. So I would be this little black square on Zoom, and I'd log in to see, what the kids are doing, so that I would also know what, just to kind of stay connected with them, right? And I obviously had to tell their teachers that, this is what's happened, and, I'm going to log in and I'm going to watch them. And, then I knew what to do next. because there's that much that you can expect, you know, the grandparents to also keep doing, and you know, you kind of have to give them some timeline of what has to be done now and next. And so it's like 5 o'clock, oh, you have this class, please log in. 4 o'clock, I mean, you know, 12 o'clock, please log into this. So there's constant those Zoom conversations and stuff like that. Kept them a little bit busy that way. Otherwise, it was just activities and playing within the house, and packed off a couple of their toys with them, and you know, just all of that.
Right.
And that was really just.
Tell me, what was, you know, you mentioned that your husband was tested negative on day 10, but you were not.
Yeah.
How's that feeling for every test result? Is it
full of anxiety? Full of anxiety.
How do you deal with that, Shraddha?
So I'm usually, you know me, and I'm usually relatively happy-go-lucky. Like I'm very relaxed. But the last 1 month, I don't know what side of me has come out. I was anxious to another level. I was having issues eating my food. I would just I just couldn't do things, Mansi. Like I just don't know what came upon me. And obviously, whether you want to or you don't want to, you start thinking the worst, right? Like it just happens. As positive in your mind that you want to be, it just wasn't happening. And eventually, yes, you know, we tried and everything else. And I mean, I had days when I was really shattered, and I was like, that's not fair. And, you know, why me? And why am I being punished? Like, what have I done wrong to not be able to see the kids for like a whole month now? And like, I mean, even the day before I finally tested negative, I was bawling. And my husband's like, what's wrong with you? Just relax. Like, it's okay. You know, if not today, tomorrow, or day after, at some point you will test negative. But I was like, no, it's, you know, Nivan's birthday tomorrow. How can I not be there? And that's so shattering, and, you know, things like that. But eventually, thankfully, we were fine. And, but that anxiety, it was like, you know, when you're sitting for ICSE, like I was telling all my friends, you know, when you're sitting for ICSE exams, and it's like the worst result that you're waiting for, it's a lot bigger than this. This is like the biggest exam that I took, you know, in my personal life so far. And so it was very, like, full of fear, full of anxiety, all of that stuff.
What was a day in your life like?
Nothing. Just sitting on the bed, working. Thankfully, I was working, so that's been my only sanity through my insanity of sorts. But, you know, I was working throughout, you know, my personal lockdown of sorts. And that's it. I would wake up, do the usual, eat in bed, eat out of paper plates, drink out of paper cups, you know, just clean my own room, wash my own clothes, do the, you know, the other extra utensils that, you know, the kettle and the bottle and, you know, all of those things.
Yeah.
And that was it, just cutting time in the room. And, you know, I'm not one who can just put on the TV and sit and watch like 20 shows and, you know, just like binge watch like something like that.
Yeah.
I did it for the first 1.5 days because I really just wanted to tune out, and I wanted to watch like something just nonsensical. And
what did you watch?
Selling Sunsets. Thanks to my nieces, I was watching Selling Sunset, and it made no sense whatsoever. But it was okay. I just watched a bit of that, and then I went to like a couple of other shows that, you know, were more up my alley. And then you know, but I just wanted something relaxed. You know, I just wanted something that would calm me down and not make my mind like wander all over, because that was just what was happening throughout. And a day in my life was literally just that, Mansi. I was just completely.
Did you feel fit enough to exercise or nothing?
You know,
like,
now,
did you feel fit enough or?
No, there is a lot of weakness that comes in. A lot of weakness that, you know, I still feel sometimes. Like, you know, now that I've started moving around, it's been my fifth day now. And I promise you, till day before, I was not touching things in my house even now. And my husband's like, listen, now it's over. You know, you need to, you know, I had just become so habituated to kind of do things so carefully of sorts, and, you know, wear gloves and do things and stuff like that. I felt really, I was actually feeling awkward in my own house to move around freely. So, you know, going and, you know, picking up the clothes and doing this and doing that, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. And then finally now, since the last 2 days, I've become a little more normal in my behavior at home also. But
tell me, what made you stay positive through this? Like, I know you said you've cried. I'm sure each one of us are going to do that. So I don't think you need to feel like why.
To suddenly be separated from the kids when you're not used to it. And I'm not one of those parents who, you know, has left the kids and traveled. And, you know, I'm not one of those, like my husband and I keep joking that the umbilical cord has not been cut from both of us. We are not one of those parents who, you know, like, okay, we're doing our own thing and the kids are on their own with their grandparents. We're not like that. You know, for us, everything just revolves around the babies. So, it was really difficult for even us to adjust to the fact that, you know, we're not seeing the kids for so many days, and equally so for the kids, obviously, to, you know, kind of understand that as well. So yeah, I mean, coming back to that, it was tough. It was really tough.
Right.
A major,
Did you
major.
do anything? Did you like get counseling? Did you meditate? Did you
No,
pray? Did you
so
do any of that?
I did meditate a little bit. I did meditate a little bit, but I'm not really the meditation sort. But I'm more of a talker, and thankfully, I had a good
Your
social
friends.
support. Yeah, my friends, my family, you know, them calling up every day, them checking in every day, those million and one FaceTime calls, and you know, how you doing, and you know, it's just very small things, but it in the larger picture, it makes a big difference.
I'm
So
sure.
super thankful for to, you know, have like friends and family that kind of were, you know, there behind us to through this. That definitely you know, made a huge difference. That social support
Right.
definitely made a huge difference.
Right.
But for me, even if I may add, I have two cousins who had also tested positive at the same time. So again, chatting with them, and you know, just knowing that we're kind of sailing through this together, and things are going normally, and you know, it's our new normal of sorts for us now. That also kind of helped somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And your husband was fine in absolutely like in 10 days and he was
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
And he
So
tested
actually, to be
negative.
very honest, Mansi, after the third day, we had no symptoms. Touch wood.
Okay.
There was nothing. Like, we didn't have a fever, we didn't have a cough, we didn't have a cold, nothing. But we just continued doing what we said for like, you know, 14 days. And then when I tested positive, you know, we chose to quarantine for another 1 week. And we did it for like 21 days. And then I personally chose to, I was still so unsure. So I chose to, and then he started going to work and everything. And, you know, he's been living life normally all over again. And then I chose to quarantine for another week because I was, you know, on the fence about the whole thing. And then finally I tested negative, and then I stepped out of the room, you know, like, but 27
Right.
days I was completely room bound.
Now coming to the diet, you were telling
Hmm.
me what was the food that you ate each day, Shraddha? And like what do you think really helped?
Initially it was, I mean, we've only been on home food completely. We've been only eating at home, all home cooked meals, all the healthy stuff. So your dal, your khichdi, roti, like the normal stuff. But thankfully, we didn't lose our sense of taste and smell as with most people who do land up losing it. So then we moved a little bit to the pizza and the pasta, like occasionally, because you get sick of eating like that same kind of food. And then we were fine. It was just basically light home cooked meals. That's what we stuck to.
Right. And you said the kadha and all that you kept.
Yeah, of course, the kada. Yeah, correct. So the kada, the nimbu pani, the coconut water, a lot of orange juice, things that, you know, would be your natural immunity boosters and stuff like that. Coconut water, maybe with like sabza, or you know, chia seeds, or
Yeah.
any of those things. And honestly, it's like a virus. It's like a fever, right? So you would eat what you would eat normally when you would get fever is literally what
Yeah.
you would eat now. So there was
And
nothing.
what's the kadha? What's the kadha that you're talking about?
So we had, you know, cardamom, honey, turmeric, ginger, all of those, you know, boiled.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's what we basically had. So keep like having that like 20 times a day if you have to, you know, literally every half an hour we were having like hot water, and, you know, keep the kettle in your room and keep boiling your own water, get like, you know, your mineral water bottle, so that again, this is stuff that I feel definitely helped me, hopefully, in trying to contain it and contain the spread for that matter, you know, because otherwise it's habitual, right? You'll just tell like somebody from the house to pass you water. Then that same flask is going back. So again, you have to take care of these things and try to keep yourself as self-sufficient as possible. So that's what we both did, like getting the, you know, soaps in the room and getting everything, like, you know, the clothes wash, the detergent and everything within the room, and doing everything on your own. It's like you're living the university life all over again, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Tell me, how does it feel now that it's behind you? Like, does it feel like, you know, I'm the stronger one, you guys better watch out now? Does it feel like that?
A little bit, but I'm still very unnerved. It's been a difficult reality to kind of accept, and but I'm getting there. I'm still not completely there, so I'm not going to lie about that. But yeah, I mean, in a way, you feel good that okay, chalo, you know, this is over and done with, and I might be a safer one to be around, you know, my family and kids and things like that. But again, you know, Mansi, there are so many different theories to this. There are so many researches that are still going on, and you know, we still don't know, like, can there be a relapse? Can I get it a few months later? Can I, you know, am I still safe to go around? You know, people are like, so many of my friends are like, oh, you know, you're the safest person to go have a drink with, you're the safest person to like drive us out anywhere and all. And I myself feel like, am I really? Like, I don't know, because
There's
you know,
nothing that's proven.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no proven theory revolving this entire thing, because I also know of a person who's had a relapse. I also know, like today, my homeopath was telling me, she's like, I've dealt with someone who's been testing positive for 60 days.
Wow.
60 days. Yeah, I was talking to the homeopath today, and this is what she said. She said, I've been treating someone for 60 days.
Did you take alternative medicine, Shraddha?
I did have homeopathy. Yeah, sorry, I did have homeopathy as well. I was having something for immunity as well from my homeopath.
Okay. So that, do you think
So
that
if anyone
plays a
needs a
role?
good homeopath, I will be very happy to recommend her, because she's really good and she's a blessing.
Just mention the name, we'll put it in the
Her
notes.
name is Ritika, Dr. Ritika. And
Okay.
if anyone asks you, I'll pass on the number to you. She's very good. She's in Juhu and she's very helpful.
Perfect. And tell me also that did you ever question yourself that why me? I know you said you did, but what's the answer that kept you sane?
You know, I told my husband this. I had this conversation with him literally on Sunday, which was the first day that we both sat together on the bed and had a dialogue, you know. And I was like, Neera, why did this happen? Like, what did we do wrong? Like, you know, what have I done to deserve this? Like, that was literally my
Yeah.
question. What did I do wrong? Like, why would God punish me like this to keep me away from the kids for 1 month? Like, where did I screw up? And he's
Yeah.
like, you're not screwed up. You know, stop thinking that way. And I was like, no, I really believe in karma. And I think, like, you know, maybe did I do something wrong over the last few days that I'm being, you know, penalized like this or whatever? And he's like, and he's more that, you know, that your typical practical guy saying like, no, you know, it was bound to happen and it's going to happen to a lot of people. So you need to stop thinking that, you know, it happened to you and whatever. And he's like, think about it this way, that God chose that, you know, it's happened to us, it's over and done with, it's hopefully behind us, and now we can safely and securely be around the kids and, you know, do whatever else that we need to do.
Maybe you're the chosen one because you guys had the immunity to deal with it, Shraddha. I look at it in the positive way. And maybe because you've never stepped out without your kids. So maybe this is an indication that they are ready. You're not cutting the umbilical cord.
My sister in Delhi keeps telling me this, because her kids are much older, and she keeps telling me that, you know, leave them, go travel, you know, do whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm very happy, you know, I'm very happy space, and they don't interfere in that space for us. So, you know, we're very happy going on the holidays with them and doing everything around them. So she's like, now you know that you can leave them and travel or do what you want to do. And I'm like, no, I'm still not ready. And now even more so, I'm a very chipku parent. So I need to be around them. So that's really just it.
Right. Before I take my last question, I'm just going to take in a couple of questions that people have asked. So since you haven't been able to trace the virus, do you think going out to work, is it risky?
You know what? There's that much that you can keep stopping yourself. I had this conversation again with my husband when he started going to work, and he was like, how long do I sit at home for? If it's going to happen, like it happened with me, it happened with me sitting at home. There are so many people, and there are so many people that we know of, you know, within our circles who've got it sitting at home. So it's inevitable. It's going to happen to most of us. And I pray that it doesn't happen to all of us. But if it does, just accept it, because this is the reality of our situation right now. And there's nothing that we can do. Like I keep saying this, like there's nothing I feel that I didn't do which was, you know, inadequate and led me to this point today. And I don't think that my husband was in any way, you know, it's very easy for somebody to say that, ye karna chahiye tha, y'all should have done this, y'all should have done that, y'all should have started. You know, I saw somebody saying that, you know, with all due respect, like I saw somebody saying that it's very risky to go out to work and stuff like that. Firstly, I think it's each to their own, and you need to decide that whether, you know, this is worth, you know, you're worth going or not going or whatever. And if there are certain people who can work from home, my husband cannot keep working from home for that matter, and he chose to start going. And a lot of people within his community have also started going to work. And I think it's very relative to begin with. There's a risk involved in everything. There's a risk involved in the food that comes, you know, in your packages that come home. There's a risk involved in, you know, your grocery runs. There's a risk involved in your fuel station runs. There's a risk involved everywhere. So there's no proven theory that because he started going to work that's how it's happened. It could be just about anything and how it's come. And I really think, and I've been telling everybody that I know that now these days there's been this whole article going on how doctors are now saying that it could be airborne and things like that.
Yes.
And I've been saying this from the beginning, because I genuinely believe that it's not just surface, it's not just the touch and everything like that. It's got to be more than that. You know, because there are so many people, you know, within homes who've gotten it again and they don't know how. So I really feel that it could be airborne for sure. I mean, it is airborne for sure.
Do you have any house help coming in? She already mentioned.
No, we didn't have any house help coming in. We have a permanent staff, and they were not allowed to go out at all. The 21 days that my husband had to stay in as well, the staff was also not allowed to step out at all. So, we were literally just getting the driver to come run our errands and, pick up everything for us. I was remote controlling my life from the bed. Like, you asked me what my day was. I was literally remote controlling my life. Be it the kids, their classes, their, meal times, still as a parent, even though I had that security that they were with their grandparents, it was like, Mummy, have they eaten their food? Dada, have they done this? Dadi, have they done this? Is the class over? Is, this activity over? So on and so forth. So there was a lot of logistical chaos, a lot of micromanaging that I still had to do because that's how, that's what being a parent is all about, right?
Yeah.
So there was all of that was definitely happening.
You were still managing your groceries and this and that. Menu aaj ye hoga, all of it.
Yeah, but that that 5 o'clock phone call, Bhabhi kya banao dinner ke liye? I'm like, just stop calling me, please. I literally told him, I said, ye abhi to mere ko chhod do, like aapko jo banane ka banao, like just leave me alone, like at some point, you know what we eat, just make whatever that we want to eat, like I can do it.
But the menu is dealing with my shit. I don't want to deal with
that, when I see his name flashing on my phone at 5 o'clock, like, what do I make for dinner? I was like, I don't want to answer your calls.
Right.
But we had to do everything like from the bed. So, I was running an account with my grocery store, saying that listen, I've tested positive. I don't want to give my guy money. I'll clear you, at the end of the month, please, whatever I need. And they were also so helpful, Didi, whatever you want, will come. And, everything was literally just dropped downstairs. And then the security would kind of bring it and leave it outside our door. And then the boy would take it in. But then then again, there are no rooms in hospitals.
Yeah.
It's also come down to that. So if you can manage doing it at home and, you're okay you're capable of managing at home, just continue to do it at home. Because I feel the word hospital and then, everything else just adds to a lot of other fear
complications.
Complications. Exactly. Both.
Right. Also, Shraddha, the subsequent test, did you again have the lab guy come over or you had to go to the lab to get tested? What's the protocol there?
So because I had already tested positive, I could. But otherwise, I mean, see now, anyways, you don't need to get tested anymore, apparently. Like, there are people who, especially those coming back from work and stuff like that. But as long as your doctor has given you the letter and the go-ahead to do it, you're allowed to do it. And for me, in my case, personally, because I had already tested positive, I could do it. So I managed doing that. But otherwise,
so did you go to the lab or the lab guys come?
Then the guy came home. Yeah.
So to all those who test positive, the lab guys are okay to come home and take your test?
Yeah, I mean, if they have to, they do. I don't see why that is an issue. Or you can go to the lab, but at this point, getting out of the house and then, going into the building and all.
Yeah, which is more dangerous. You're subjecting a lot of people
altogether. So, if you can request them to come home, a lot of,
right.
I mean, like I said, there are a couple of labs and they all come and, test the people at home and stuff like that. So definitely, if you can do that, nothing like it.
You're getting so many blessings, Shraddha. You should feel really like this is just going on and on. I don't know how to, but really, thank you so much. But I have to ask you,
like I told you, if we can even help one person with this, it'll be great because I just feel like we're all living in this very gray zone right now. We don't know what to expect. We're all just expecting the worst and we don't know in which direction all of us are going, including me today. And I really hope that, there's anyone if they can benefit from this, then nothing like it.
Yeah. I'm not going to end without asking you this question. How does this change your perspective to life, Shraddha? Has anything changed at all?
Yeah. I would like to say that somewhere, even more so from before, I would stop taking things for granted and be supremely grateful for everything and everyone around us. I think beyond that, there's nothing greater than that. I think, first of all, lockdown has taught that to us. Everything else doesn't matter. It's like your immediate, your near and dear, and everything else is all that matters. And even more so now for me, for sure. So yeah,
right.
Definitely that. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm a more positive person, but in another way.
I love that. That was a fun way to add that. Yeah, but you really, I'm just like really, really thankful for you to do this and share this with us. And I really have one more question. Why did you put on your Instagram? And by the way, for everybody who's not following her, you must follow the Diaper Drama because she shared her journey there. But why did you say that? Did you think it was like a stigma that you got it? Like people, why Why do you think
Mansi,
that is?
we can have another live related to that. I cannot tell you the drama that I've dealt with. You know, the first 2 days, I feel like I genuinely dealt more with drama related to COVID than COVID itself. You know, whether it was, you
God.
know, yeah, because it somewhere pressed. We were the first case in our building, for example. So, you know, it obviously pressed a panic button, understandably so, with, you know, a lot of members, and there are a lot of elderly people, so on and so forth. Beyond that, I knew so many people, and the news of the virus travels faster than the virus itself. Okay, so I had, even when, remember when you messaged me, how are you feeling? I'm like, how did you know? Like, how did you know? And but again, you know, like you said, this is South Bombay, so you will just find out, because it's the most normal thing to get to know now. And I had people, like, the first 3 days, 2 days, we were really like on the phone, because we had so many family members calling us, and obviously people and friends, and those who wanted to know, like, again, like this entire conversation, like what happened, what to expect, what not to expect, so on and so forth, and what did you do, how did you do, and so on. And there were tons of people, there was tons of nonsense that I was hearing, and there was just tons of flack that I was getting from, you know, certain people and whatever that it is. And I was like, for what? This is the most normal thing. We've been so honest and transparent and open about it from day one. And there was nothing to hide. There was just nothing to hide. It is the most normal thing right now, you know, like around us. And I feel that it's not like, you know, we've stepped out of the window and out the door and been like, hey, COVID, come sit on my body, and, you know, purposely come and, like, you know, do this and put me in a situation, you know, that would risk my life, that would risk the future of my family, or anything like that. You know, I mean, we are responsible enough for that matter. But this is what it is. This is society. This is the community that we all live in. This is how our city functions, or our country functions, unfortunately. So, you know, like I mentioned earlier, it's very easy to say you should have done this, you should have not done that, you should have not gone to work, you should have not stayed at home, you should have, you know, just whatever. But you just don't know. You just don't know. And
yeah, I agree. And in retrospect, everything may seem like ye kyun.
Yeah, आपने क्यों ये किया? आपको ये नहीं करना चाहिए. आपको, you know, this, that, and the other. It's very easy to point a finger, but trust me, we didn't do any of those things that are making you point a finger, first of all. And then secondly, you and me, like even you and me right now, are equally prone, and half the people watching this are equally prone to getting it. Absolutely. Without any fault of theirs, you know, without wronging anyone or wronging anything. And because that's just what this virus is all about. So, you know, it's not that, like my husband keeps telling me, it's not that you've done something that, you know, you've gotten it or whatever that it is. It's come now, deal with it. This is your reality, and accept it and move on, you know.
Correct.
So,
and you moved on. That's the best part about it. You're done. It's done. That's what I wish you so much good health.
Thank you.
And so much time with the kids now.
Thank you. I can't wait to have them back.
And we're gonna, I think part 2 of this live should be your recommendations on Netflix, because I think you possibly done a PhD on that one by now.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
So your playlist is what everybody should be vying for right now. But really, thank you so much.
Start with Arya if anyone wants to. Start with Arya. It's bad.
Yeah, literally, I watched it in one night.
But you know, Mansi, I stopped watching it. Coming back to how I felt, I stopped watching it in the middle because there was so much anxiety, and I don't want to break the show to anybody. But you know, there were certain things happening, and I was like, no, you know, I started again, like my mind started moving in directions that I didn't want it to, and I actually switched off. I put on Friends for like 2 hours because I was like, again, I want to just go back to something that's just nonsensical and easy and light, you know, just something that would just keep me sane, you know, instead of making my mind work in like overdrive all over again. So
awesome. Now we're like busy sanitizing the whole house and making sure.
We got the whole house. That's what. So because I had moved into the kids' room again, that fear. Oh my God, I've been living here for 1 month and I'm sitting there right now, but I'm happy to be here again. You know. But you know, with the sanitizer, the handles, you know, I got a professional to come clean up the house, and then we, you know, kind of just did everything within our rooms as well on our own. So just, you know, you just want to make your environment safe all over again, even though, you know, you feel
you discarded all the chaddars and the pillows and all, say like, yeah.
So I need new thermometers. I need new everything right now. And you know that everything in that room, like that too, everything was on the sink. So we've just discarded everything, even though like logically it's like, okay, the virus is not going to sit for so many days. But you're like, I don't want to take a chance with anything. Just let it go.
Yeah.
You know, just get whatever you have to get all over again. So
Awesome. I think the post is also equally, you know, you have to prepare for the post as well.
100%, 100%. You're still, like I said, for my staff now it's like I keep telling them, I was like, now I have to take care of you guys more because you all touchwood didn't get it, and I hope that you don't get it. So just be really careful. Like, honestly, even till date, my guy comes to clean the room wearing his mask and gloves, and I've told him, I said, from now to at least 6 months, it's like a part of you, and I don't want you to do it any other way because I don't want you to take a chance. End of the day, they've been with me for really long, and I have a huge responsibility towards them, and I don't want to risk their lives either. So and I don't want to go into lockdown all over again or anything like that, for them or anything like that. So these are those little steps that you have to just take at home. So
Awesome.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, great. Shraddha, thank you again. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing
Thank you.
this.
Thank
And
you.
like I said, more love and more power to you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.